Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. I love that nighttime view of the city. Each light represents a household, somebody doing something different. Some people are just sitting down to dinner. Some people have just finished eating dinner. Others are getting ready to go out for the evening. Except that's not quite what's lined up for 2022. Way back in the beginning of 2021, I did predict there was another lockdown coming. And I'm being proven correct, just not in the way that I anticipated. Because you see, this is a lockdown that isn't a lockdown. It's a lockdown in everything but name. The government did something clever, something insidious, but still clever. Whereas we used to have the Canada Recovery Benefit, the CERB, and all those other things, employment insurance, they switched it so that fund would only become active if a lockdown was declared. And they're getting around it by simply not declaring a lockdown. Now let's look at the facts of the situation. Government programs are being shut down. I got a half dozen notices today about my little one and how the programs we had set up have been canceled. The teachers are refusing to go back to school, and actually I support the teachers on this one. A lot of people are going to come down on the teachers. Oh, you get this, you get that. But I mean, children are dirty. I have kids. I love kids. Being around children is a joy. But you look around for 2 seconds and they've picked up a wad of dirt or whatever you don't want them to pick up, and they're playing with it as happy as can be. And with a teacher, they got that times 30. Literally, most classrooms are about 30. They start at 20, then they shuffle around, and it winds up as 30. So I can't fault the school board, not the school board, but the teachers' union for not wanting to work in unsafe conditions. They want proper masks to be paid for, which, let's be honest, the police get them, the firefighters get them, the ambulance gets them, and teachers are guaranteed to come into contact with 30 kids a day. Those 30 kids, let's be generous here for a second, those 30 kids have at least one parent. So that's now 60 people that are in direct contact. Most parents tend to have more than one child. So again, that's now 80 people that particular teacher is coming in slight indirect contact with. Let's assume those 3 people went shopping. Because a mother can't just leave the kids at home. A father can't just say to the kids, amuse yourself. You got to kind of keep the kids with you. So your number of contacts has multiplied exponentially. And one of them comes in, it's a story as old as time, they're not feeling well, but we sent them in anyway. True story. A friend of mine who does not work in the education system, works in private industry, they were at work, and one of their co-workers was sent home. And it turned out the co-worker was complaining about not feeling well. They did the test, and boom, that person has the virus. The nasty one, the pandemic we're not supposed to say anything about on YouTube. So now we are dealing with, let's put that teacher into perspective again. So now that teacher has come into contact with somebody's workplace who somebody went in because they thought they could make it through today, and people do feel pressure. They feel pressure to go to work. They feel like they have to make a living, and they do under our current system. Look at me. My voice is shot, and I'm still pushing myself through this episode because I want one more episode before the end of 2021. And a lot of people do that. We have this worker bee mentality in the West. Yes, there are slackers who sit at home and do scrap all day. But most people, as has been proved, would rather be working for a living. They get fulfillment. There's the old adage, would you rather work to live or live to work? And a lot of people are in fact living to work. Their conversation revolves around their workplace. And even though they don't think they're obsessed with it, they gosh darn well are. And during these past lockdowns, we have seen it. Now, this lockdown, that's not a lockdown, I'm seeing more and more things get canceled. It's kind of like a virus of its own. It's chewing through multiple things. Now, every program that's shut down, let's take swimming. To run a pool, first of all, you have to run the pool. That means you have to have somebody who knows how to operate it, set it up, put the proper chemicals in, balance it. You need a lifeguard. Now, the lifeguard can do some of those duties, but they can't do that and lifeguard because all of that is very tiring to balance, especially on a community-sized swimming pool. You need somebody at the door making sure the people who are coming in have paid or have a pass or what have you. So right there we can see you need 3 people to do the job. And then how do you run it? Do you have half-size swimming? Do you only let half the people in? Because then you're running at a loss. So recreation activities are running at a loss to begin with. Shutting them down, well, now you have to start giving people refunds because they're either missing out or you're going to have to switch your schedule for the rest of the year. And this is the weird thing that we're going to have to start looking into. How far can we postpone activities? For those of you with children, you already know that we've already lost about 6 months of schooling in the past couple years. From the looks of it, we're going to lose more. Again, let's not blame the teachers on this. The teachers are trying to protect themselves. I would support the police, the fire department, the ambulance drivers on the exact same issue. But where are our children going to find this time back? Are we going to have to reinstitute a grade 13? Because I'll be honest, grade 13, this will show my age. Yeah, Silverlight's a little bit old, but grade 13 was basically about how to write essays for university. Do you know what first year in university was? How to write essays for university. I got a lot of practice at it. And, well, let's just say the opposite is happening with our kids. Now, I am making sure that my kids do stuff, and I'm sure you do as well. You give them some math to keep them busy. You do something so they're not watching cartoons or playing video games 24 hours a day. But the same token, no one's going to deny that a professional teacher who's certified is probably better able to look after what your child's needs are. Because while I happen to be very good in English and I'm okay at math, I'm sure there's some parts of the curriculum I would not give proper attention to. There's a whole month they do Black History Month. I would probably give it a week, not because I don't respect Black culture, but simply because I think I can do it in a week and do it justice. Then there's Jewish History Month. Again, I think I can cover that in about a day or two. Not because Jewish people have less culture, quite the opposite. Because I think I'm pretty good at it. Then we have First Nations culture. Leaving aside my issues, like saying that all First Nations people use totem poles, which is completely false. The West Coast First Nations did, and nobody else. It's a West Coast thing. But they were teaching it as though it was universal. But that went out the window pretty darn quickly. And then they brought it back because, unfortunately, they found more casualties, shall we say. I am purposely avoiding addressing that issue because it's rather sensitive. And since it doesn't affect me directly, I don't really feel I should be commenting on it. But during this lockdown that's not a lockdown, if teachers are not coming in, are they going to be doing lessons? And how are we going to get our kids caught up? Somebody, some idiot, sooner or later is going to say, we're going to have to go to mandatory summer school. And this is a stupid idea. Every place they've tried it, like the students' performance goes downhill. Kids do need the chance to be kids, to go out, do stupid stuff, throw rocks at a fence, whatever kids are going to do. You know they make up crazy games because you were a kid once too. And it made sense at the time. As adults, it doesn't make as much sense, but it once did. And kids need that time. They need their weekends. As adults, we think we don't need time off, but we do. So during this lockdown that's not a lockdown, that proved Silverlight right, that there was another one coming. Not trying to gloat, just reminding everybody I called it. I thought it was September. I got the timing wrong. Okay, but I did say it was coming. The other problem is going to be, is this the last one? Hard to say. I already know there's a few workplaces that are not following anything close to proper distancing, proper hand washing. I could go on for hours about the hand washing. I know you can't really regulate when people wash their hands, but excuse me. See, I just coughed in my hands. Now, I'm not touching my phone. I'm not letting anybody else touch it, but I'll be going to wash my hands as soon as I'm done recording. Other people are at their desk, they're snorting, and they're wiping their nose and all sorts of crazy stuff, and they never do anything. And then they bring something to you, or they hand since they want to shake your hand. Ugh, it's disgusting. But people don't want to do it. I worked at a place not too long ago, and the owner's daughter was so paranoid that she canceled pizza days for the whole company because she didn't want to take the risk of catching of catching the plague from the pizza delivery guy. Now, the owner didn't complain because he's like, "Oh, here's a way to cut back expenses." But she ruined Friday Pizza Day for the entire company because she didn't want to take this pizza. Well, she didn't have to. There was a whole company of people that would all have been happy to take it. Hand the money over, although I think it was all done by credit card. Who knows? We're at a very, very interesting time. What's going to happen if the shutdowns continue? People are already desperate. People are already looking for work. And the more we shut down, the less benefit we're going to get out of it. We need to kick this thing out. Whatever it takes. Now, again, Silverlight respects your body and respects your choices. I'm not saying, excuse me, I'm not saying go and get vaccinated. I'm not saying don't get vaccinated. We're officially vaccine neutral on this channel. But something that we are very pro is hygiene. And it's not much to ask. Please, for goodness sake, wash your hands. You know what? If you are sick, stay home. And if you've already accumulated a lot of sick days, get a doctor's note. Protect yourself. Doctors are pretty good with giving notes. So it's never been a problem for me at any rate. Do the little things. And yes, you think, unless you are the owner of a company, it can go on without you being there. Because it survived before you and it will survive without you. If you own a company and you cannot afford to take a day off, you're doing something wrong. There should be some way that you can either reschedule your appointments or have a second in command that can take over when you're gone and work with minimum supervision. Let's start recognizing sick days. Let's start recognizing people need to be clean. The number of people I know that don't wash properly would scare you. And I'm sure what people I'm talking to feel the same way. So let's get back to basics and remember, you know what? These schools are disgusting. They're old, they're rickety, they're horrible. I've worked in a lot of horrible buildings that have terrible ventilation, and they have tow motors in them. They have trucks going around them. They're right by a highway. Almost every single one of them has been bad, and we're breathing that in. This is one of the times we need to push for better conditions at our workplace. People are allowed to take sick days, because even if we give them infinite sick days, people are still going to come into work. Why? Oh, I just need to finish this. I need to do blah, blah, blah. They're still going to come in. Employers with this 16th, 17th century attitude where, they think Malthusian economics are still a thing. No, people honestly want to work. But when they feel bad, they honestly feel bad. We need to start reevaluating our priorities. Worker safety needs to be number one. And if you're coming in and you're sick and you're tired and you're not feeling well, you are not performing at 100%, and I'm probably better off not having you around. So again, support the teachers, because you would want the same for yourself. Support your children, because we got to make sure that they can go on and accomplish their dreams. Imagine your child wants to be a doctor or an engineer, something that requires a lot of education. They're going to need to catch up too. And we have to do this together, because divide and conquer makes things easy for the bigwigs. That's their favorite strategy. We have to stand united, whether it's us with the teachers, us with the students. There's no conflict of interest there. Everybody can benefit. And we have to start pushing to make sure that we get those benefits. Because the longer this goes on, the worse it gets for everybody. We hope you have a fantastic new year, however you decide to celebrate it. Let's hope 2022 is a turning point for everybody. I have a couple really good irons in the fire. I'm hoping to make some more announcements. And yeah, stay tuned to the channel. We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, buy the merchandise, which is the books in the description. We hope you have a fantastic day, and may the new year bring you health, prosperity, and kindness.